there, Pokemon Masters, Birdkeepertoby here, and with the new Pokemon game coming up, there's one thing I always get excited to see. The new Pokemon designs, the way they look, which ones do I like the most and which ones do I like the least. I get absolutely obsessed looking at them, and there is a weird story behind this video. I was watching a video by my friend Hoops and Hip Hop, who was showing off drawings of Fakemon he had made when he was younger. Now, I have a lot of drawings of Fakemon lying around, because who needs maths in school when instead you can doodle cool monsters? Yeah, and my teachers thought I was wasting my time. But watching his video got me to think, hey, I should put some of my Patreon money to some great use and get commissioned a few of those different drawings that I'd done when I was younger. My personal favourite designs I would love that if Game Freak, if you're watching, you're not, please feel free to take any of them. And so that's what today is all about. I've chosen 10, well technically 16 if you include forms and evolutions, of my favourite designs that I want to show to you, some of my favourite Fakemon that I personally made when I was younger. And I've got to give a massive shout out to Elite Trainer Lynn, who is the fantastic artist who you will see as the video goes on, who brought these drawings of mine to life. If you want to do a video just like this one, or just want to get something drawn, I fully recommend her. Her link is at the top of the description. But I also thought, if I'm going to do a video about Fakemon, I'm going to need some help from an expert. So joining me today is YouTube's resident Fakemon expert, Trickiewee.
Hello everyone, this is Trickiewee, but you could call me Tricky. I am very happy to be helping out Toby with these lovely Fakemon. I have my own Fakemon series on my channel where we cover all kinds of amazing fan-made Pokemon who have been creatively brought to life. There's Pokedex entries, names, types, and even the viewers can come up with their own Pokemon. So if you like that kind of stuff, you could go on my channel and check this out. With all that said, Toby's gonna go ahead and get us started.
So, in no particular order, number 1 is the Ice Dragon. Yeah, I don't really have great names for these. You're gonna have to help me out in the comments section. The whole of the Ice Dragon's body is inorganic. It's this crystalline structure. The only real organic part of it is its eyes. Those ice-cold eyes. Of course, this is just my original drawing, and this is what Elite Trainer Lynn turned it into, and oh my goodness, I love it. It would definitely know moves like Ice Beam and Psyshock and Blizzard. Of course, its main inspirations are the Crystal Onyx from the Pokemon TV show, Articuno, and the White Knight Dragon from Yu-Gi-Oh!
I for one wish this thing was real. Of course, Kyurem being another ice dragon, he's pretty cool too, but I love the design of this thing. We think that Diavern would be a very good name for this Pokemon, and what makes Pokemon so fun is their Pokedex entries. So let's go ahead and get into its Dex entry. This dragon is hunted widely because it is believed to be made of diamonds. However, its entire body is made of ice crystals that happen to resemble said diamonds. It has a boomerang-shaped head, and it appears to be wearing crystal jewelry such as earrings, and even has a giant crystal on its head. This Pokemon glistens in sunlight due to slight melting. Due to poaching, this Pokemon is now incredibly rare. It is unknown how it flies, however it is said to be a result of its mystical powers.
Next up, the Walrus Pokemon. See, again with the names, recommendations. And of course, this isn't the first Walrus Pokemon in the whole world of Pokemon. Obviously, there's the Walrein line, but in my head, this Pokemon is actually closer related to Snorlax than Walrein. It kind of takes design aspects from both. Again, here's the real artwork of it, turning it to life, and I imagine it would know moves like Snore, Rest, Body Slam, but also Hail and Surf. I think in my head the tusks were supposed to be more like a trident, as well as the having 3 eyes a relation to, again, a trident. A weapon very commonly associated with mermaids.
We don't have a name for this guy, but it's up to you guys in the comments to help us out. So this lovely 3-eyed gluttonous walrus is ice and water type. It spends most of the day sleeping, much like myself, and it shares more DNA with Snorlax than it does with Walrein. It is incredibly friendly, and despite living in the Arctic, it never gets cold due to its blubber. Sometimes when it sleeps too long, the ice melts around it. Much like Snorlax and Walrein, this Pokemon would probably have a lot of HP. And it would be very annoying to take down as well.
Okay, so entries number 3 and 4 kind of need to go together. They are not evolutions or related in any way, but I imagine them kind of like rival Pokemon, like Seviper and Zangoose. Perhaps in Pokemon Sun and Moon, one would come with Sun version, one would come with Moon version, and they both serve a similar role. These are the Dragonfly and the Crockroach. The names are punny, but they're not really Pokemon names, so again, please help. I feel like given the more mature designs of these two are probably the least likely to actually become Pokemon on this list. However, I do love both of these half reptile, half insect creatures. I imagine they would have moves like Toxic. I can see them very much spitting acid. My personal favourite of these two Pokemon is the Dragonfly, so I definitely get that version, but let me know which is yours. But why don't you see what they look like brought to life?
I definitely love these two because I love the play of words. Cockroach and Dragonfly. Of course, we would love to have Pokemon like this. I think Cockroach is very creative, and that'll be an amazing Chimera Pokemon. It's neither a crocodile or a cockroach, so it kind of resembles half of a Komodo dragon and half of another creepy crawly little bug. This lizard bug hybrid has a smelly breath and spits venom whenever it hisses. Its breath can melt rocks, and its movements are clumsy and awkward. Just like me. It has the new ability Corrosive Acid. So this guy would probably be Bug Poison or maybe even Bug Dragon. Really depends. Even Poison Dragon. But it's all according to our imagination, so let us know in the comment section below what type you think this thing should be. Moving on to our cute little Dragonfly. I always thought that Flygon was based off of a dragonfly, but it's really based off of an antlion, and it kind of looks like a dragonfly. But it'll be very nice to see a Bug Dragon Pokemon in the future that is supposed to be a play of Dragonfly. I really want it. Much like this one. So this Pokemon is an acid-spitting dragon bug type. It's striped like a wasp and it has huge eyes that allows it to hunt through dense jungles. This is the biggest bug type Pokemon with 4 long legs and giant wings to keep its large body airborne. It weighs so much it spends large portions of the day resting. Stay asleep forever, please. Other key features include a toxic stinger and its 4 terrifying mandibles that are equipped with a single giant fang that drag prey towards its mouth. Kill it with fire. But it's a dragon. We can't burn it anymore. We can ice it. It's time.
So number 5 seems absolutely adorable. He seems cute for now. The problem is he actually has 3 different forms. Much like our mischievous friend Rotom, he is an electric ghost type, which is pretty cool. We'll call him Volt for now, and he has different forms depending on how many electrical attacks hit him. Because for now, he's powered down, but if he gets hit with an electric type moves, he becomes his powered up form, and if he gets hit by several electric type moves in a battle, he'll become his supercharged form, each time increasing his stats. And of course, he is a special attacker, knowing moves like Shadow Ball and Thunderbolt, and I wonder if Discharge would, have more power with this Pokemon, but maybe revert the form back. Because that's the whole idea, he's storing a charge.
This is another one of my favorites because it kind of has a little Egyptian vibe to it. I love Egyptian mythology and anything that may be based around that. Toby named this little guy Volt, and it is a ghost electric type, so maybe it could be based off of Osiris or something, the god of the afterlife or whatever. But anyway, it's naughty in nature and it has 3 different forms: powered down, powered up, and supercharged. The lightning bolt on its head conducts electricity and channels through Volt's metallic curly horns, which are totally adorable. Its grimace never fades, and its horns are like menacing eyebrows. Its horns are the only physical part of its body, so if it happened to go invisible, the horns will remain visible to you, so you'll be able to see them floating by themselves. I love it. It's so spooky. The electricity will gather around its lightning as it charges up. This ability is very similar to Lightning Rod. However, if this Pokemon gets hit once, it powers up. If it gets hit 2 times more, it becomes supercharged. It's kind of like a battery Pokemon, and I love it.
Number 6 is without a doubt my favourite little evolution line. It's these 3 little water fossil-y creatures here. I did intend for it to be a fossil type Pokemon, but I never drew its other fossil counterpart, but that's okay. It's also very similar to Omanyte. I mean, it is inspired by Omanyte, but it's also inspired by another creature you might recognise, Chaos from Sonic the Hedgehog. This creature has a liquid-like skin, and that's why you can sort of see the veins within it, and also the only solid part of it are its teeth and spine, which are supposedly made of rocks. Now, I know it looks like it, but it's not actually a 3-stage evolution line. Instead, this Pokemon has a split evolution, which is again unusual for a fossil. One of them is if it evolves by level up, but the other, as the artist seems to have drawn a King's Rock on its head, would appear to be if it evolves when traded holding a King's Rock.
This fossil Pokemon is kind of related to Omanyte. While its color scheme and typing are the same, its skin is a layer of liquid allowing you to see the Pokemon's veins. Spooky. Its eyes move around loosely, but its teeth and rocky spine seem to hold relatively in place. It scours the ocean floor and beaches, and it is said that this Pokemon is the ancestor of all land life. It has 2 evolutions. The first is a slender, faster creature that stands on 2 legs or crawls on its belly. It has 2 powerful pincers. The other evolution supports a large rock formation on its 6 long legs that distribute the weight evenly. It has some smaller pincers and a pearl that has been encrusted in its rocky crown. It's royalty.
Number 7 is an octopus. Kind of. Again, inspired by Omanyte, as well as the Daleks from Doctor Who and Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean, as well as even Jinzo from Yu-Gi-Oh! The idea is that this being is super intelligent and its brain just holds so much knowledge, so much so that it does its best to avoid other living things, either by being far below in the oceans or up there in space, because no one in the Pokemon world is quite sure if it came from the sea or up above. Of course, it would know moves like Psychic and Water Pulse, but just look, it looks so awesome when brought to life.
So this octopus is a highly intelligent water psychic Pokemon. A layer of organic tissue wraps around its eyes, constricting blood flow to its brain. Its evolutionary trait is what has allowed it to gain such intelligence. It lives deep in the ocean for peace, and its face has a lot of smaller tendrils that look like a beard or a mustache. I love it. Its veiny brain is so large that people even think that it could explode, which would be totally gross, but it doesn't explode, so that's a good thing. Its tentacles can actually regenerate and grow, so it confuses opponents to make them attack them, because it just pops right back up. It technically isn't an octopus, as it only has 6 main tentacles, although no one has really seen the 2 behind it. It's Cthulhu, the Pokemon.
So Pokemon number 8 is very personal to me. This is Barney, and Barney is a dinosaur. No, really, he's a T-Rex. What do you mean he looks like a hippo? Barney is my first ever toy. I've had him pretty much since the day I was born. We are the exact same age as far as I'm concerned. And when I was younger, I kind of thought he was a T-Rex. I mean, I sort of still do, thanks to the power of denial, but other people didn't see him like that. So one time at school, I thought it'd be cool to draw him how I saw him, except also with wings. Which weirdly, I did actually find a fluffy toy in Waterstones that looked just like that. Anyway, while he appears to be just your classical red fire-breathing dragon, his actual name is Dragopotamus, as a mixture of dragon and hippopotamus. I also gave him a pre-evolution kind of inspired by Winkrebo from Yu-Gi-Oh! And also the fact that all pseudo-dragons of each region seem to start off incredibly small and then become something incredibly huge later on down the line. Here's what they look like brought to life.
This cutie is a big red friendly dragon and a distant relative of Dragonite. This is a classic fire dragon type and is known as the Hippo Dragon Pokemon. It is frightening to its enemies, but the best companion any trainer could have. It intimidates with its cuteness. Its pre-evolution does not evolve for many levels and it's only about knee-high. It has a very wide grin and no arms. It's absolutely adorable. I really love Toby's story about this one too. It's very personal. And if you made any Pokemon like that in the past, be sure to share it with us. We would love to read about them.
Number 9, this Pokemon. No, really, this is a Pokemon. It looks like an egg, but it's actually a Pokemon with the ability Sturdy. And the only move it can learn is Explosion. It is a Dark and Ghost type. What an oddity, what a gimmicky thing, except when you level it up to a certain degree, maybe like level 80, 90, that's when it really transforms into something very much inspired by the Earthbound Immortals from Yu-Gi-Oh! Take it away, Tricky.
This is another one of my favorites. It's a dark ghost type legendary Pokemon, and it has large teeth and a mouth that can seemingly open forever. That's kind of terrifying. This Pokemon is gigantic and is said to be the spirit bound to the earth. It has 4 long sharp arms and a scythe on its tail. Its pre-evolution is an egg that can only learn Explosion. Its method of evolution is unknown, and the pattern on the egg resembles the evolution's eye, suggesting that the egg could see you all along. Dun dun dun.
And finally, number 10, and this Pokemon is the oldest drawing of a Fakemon that I own. I must have drawn it back when I was in junior or primary school. And you see, it does have a little Jester rival Pokemon, which maybe I'll do a part 2 talking about that and more Fakemon in the future, but for now we'll just stick with this one, because this one is the only legendary Pokemon on the list. His name is Nebuli, as in nebulous and eye of the storm, and his bottom half is a cyclone, kind of like the Tasmanian devil, probably inspired by it as well. Also, the crown on his head, as well as his psychic typing, is inspired by Slowking, as well as the whole premise behind his eye actually being in the cyclone and the other faces being fake. That was inspired by the Amiibo boss from Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. He is a psychic and flying type, and he has a brand new ability which confuses opponents upon switching in.
This is a legendary Pokemon with a cyclone for a tail. It has 3 fake faces that work independently, but its eye and brain is in the cyclone. It has a bizarre combination of gold, silver, purple, and orange. It has a giant golden crown and 2 goofy snake-like arms, and its fingers resemble its fangs. This Pokemon is a psychic and flying type, and it confuses all of its opponents. I would be very confused too. I absolutely loved all of these Fakemon though. I always want to see what people could come up with, and it's just so exciting. I want to thank Toby for having me, and I hope you guys really enjoyed what he came up with.
Of course, those are just my 10/16 Fakemon that I have had designed, and again, this video wouldn't have been made possible without the work of Elite Trainer Lynn, who designed these, and the Patreons who gave me the money to commission these. That's just why your Patreon support is so appreciated, because it allows me to do cool stuff like this. But also, if you want to see more Fakemon video, then of course check out the work of Tricky Wee, who is, as I say, the Fakemon queen on YouTube. Please do leave a like if you enjoyed any of these designs, and a comment as to which was your favorite. And man, I hope one day some of these get used by Game Freak. So hi, Pokemon Masters.
This is Ash Ketchum. You just watched a video by Birdkeepertoby. That makes you a Pokemon Master!